Welcome to the State Hornet Broadcast, where we bring you the latest news at Sacramento State. I'm Skylar Finlay.
And I'm Min Antang. Thank you for joining us.
The ASI election results were announced this spring with a voter turnout of 16%, which was the highest since 2004. Erin Jot-Carr, a Combat U student founder, and her running mate Richard Angulo won the presidential ticket. The pair claims their first priority is to apply the 4 pillars that were embedded in their campaign, which include fighting for financial affordability, fighting for innovation, fighting for DEI, and fighting for campus safety. 14 different tickets were present on this year's ballot, and the 16% voter turnout represented over 3,000 students at Sac State. Other elects in positions filled include Jen Gallinado for Vice President of Academic Affairs, Sergio Maciel for Vice President of Finance, and Amaka Akam for Vice President of University Affairs. Every academic college, aside from the College of Education, also elected a new director.
Sac State and ASI dedicate $1.7 million from the Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund to purchase new chairs and desks and make classroom more accessible. The decision was influenced by Lookwood listening session in 2023, where students advocate for accessible furniture in classroom on campus. Students have been criticizing how accommodating these classrooms are, especially in cramped or smaller spaces. Following the funding dedication, one of the students expressed the furniture upgrade is good news, but they think some other issues should still be prioritized, such as increased accessible parking, ADA push-button maintenance, and upgrade bathroom stall. Others also stress how campus events lack sign language interpreter, caption, and visual description. Students have stressed the importance of inclusivity on campus for those who seek disability accommodation and hope to see stronger effort in the future.
In other news, the California State University has confirmed that at least 70 current international CSU students have had their visas revoked as of April 7th. At this time, there is no specifics on why these visas have been canceled. Secretary of State Marco Rubio claims that the Trump administration has revoked 300 or more student visas of foreign-born students and alumni countrywide. Sacramento State President Luke Wood sent out an email displaying support for the international community at Sac State. Wood said, "We are actively working to ensure that every individual affected receives accurate information, personalized guidance, and the care they deserve." The administration from the University of California also released a statement on April 4th regarding the ongoing troubles, stating, "We are committed to doing what we can to support all members of our community as they exercise their rights under the law." The number of students at Sacramento State who have been affected remains disclosed.
President Luke Wood updated the financial plan to navigate the $37 million deficit in the 2025-26 fiscal year. The impact includes merge and cut in 28 positions in management and course selection, and a consideration of a student success fee to help service, such as retention program. This additional fee would be proposed by college rather than the university as a whole. The update says students will get the chance to vote on this proposal before the end of the semester and also be notified of potential changes. According to update, Sac State is looking into alternative budgets and revenue, citing the approved fee increase from fall 2024 that are set to take effect in fall 2025. This fee would contribute to programs such as athlete and student health, but not the academic budgets.
Members of the California Faculty Association participated in the National Day of Action for Higher Education on April 17th in the Library Quad. Supporters came forward and spoke out about potential layoffs, bargaining issues, and student safety at Sac State. Part of this protest stems from the short-notice layoffs of temporary faculty and lecturers who make up over half of the university faculty. This worries temporary faculty and lecturers as they are only granted a 45-day layoff notice, while tenured professors receive a 180-day notice. President of the Sacramento CFA chapter and sociology lecturer Ann Luna said these actions are preemptive considering the state budget has not been finalized yet. Luna, in an interview with the State Hornet, said, "I am a tenured faculty member. I am an associate professor. I have multiple advanced degrees, and I still live paycheck to paycheck." Other organizations at Sac State, such as Students for Quality Education, have promoted future protests that advocate against raised fees, class cuts, and professor layoffs.
Due to the new FAFSA implementation, several notifications regarding the middle class scholarship disbursement delay was sent out starting from October 2024. The scholarship finally became eligible for Sac State students on March 12. However, this delay left many students worried and struggling to pay their tuition and living expenses. The Communication and Public Affairs Coordinator for the California Student Aid Commission, Shevin Ratnam, said that there are efforts being made by CSAC to ensure the disbursement for spring 2025 semester.
Thank you, Min, for that update. Now let's hand it over to Eliza and Sincere for the latest news on sports.
Welcome to the Broadcast Sports segment. I'm Eliza Imran.
And I am Sincere Kelly, and we are here to bring you the latest sports updates.
Sac State softball had a huge home matchup against Weber State with a spot for second place in the conference on the line. With its late start, the Hornets ended in a 1-2 series loss. During the second of the doubleheader, Sac State head coach Lori Perez celebrated a milestone, as this was her 300th win as head coach, making this the third most in the school's history. The crowd and the team commemorated the moment with a Gatorade bath and confetti cannon.
Sac State's baseball secured a series win 2-1 versus California Baptist. The battle was a match of two of the top three teams in the Western Athletic Conference. Standout players this season have been sophomore closer Cade Brown, who was named Pitcher of the Week for the conference for his performance against Cal Baptist. Sophomore outfielder Jacob Paternak leads the team in home runs with 11 on the year. The Hornets are 23-17 on the year.
Sac State women's tennis took home a 5-0 sweep against their Causeway rival UC Davis. They followed the victory with a 4-3 victory against the Idaho Vandals. Sophomore Lou Baudouin put up an intense fight and won 3 sets. The Hornets have been explosive this season, with players such as freshman Amelia Prainate and Reese Walker showing resilience throughout their games.
For men's tennis, they swept 4-0 against the Idaho State Vandals, now looking forward to competing in the Big Sky Conference tournament. The Hornets have some youth on this team with only one returning player from last season's Big Sky Championship team. 6 underclassmen look to contribute big in the team's goal to repeat as Big Sky Conference champions.
Sac State announced that former Sacramento Kings player Mike Bibby will be the next men's basketball head coach. Bibby will be the program's 17th coach after the 2024-25 season was directed by interim head coach Michael Zapol. Sac State's athletic director Mark Orr said that himself and Bibby have discussed this potential alliance for the last 3 years, but the timing wasn't quite right. Bibby says that he intends to use his 14 years of NBA experience to help the program compete in the Big Sky Conference after 2 seasons of finishing dead last, hoping to instill a winning culture. Here is multimedia staffer Madison Llewellyn with student reactions to Mike Bibby being hired as the next men's basketball head coach.
I'm Madison Flum with the State Hornet. Today, we're gathering student reactions to the latest Sacramento State sports news. We're asking students everything, from new coaches to the future of sports at Sac State. So let's go see what they think.
Sacramento State has undergone numerous changes and made some bold changes in their athletics, hiring former NBA point guard Mike Bibby for men's basketball and former UNLV coordinator Brennan Marion for football head coach. Students voiced their excitement and their concerns on the changes and expectations for the upcoming future of Sac State. Mike Bibby, a former NBA player for the Sacramento Kings, has made his return back to Sacramento as coach. Bibby took on the role of men's basketball head coach this April, and students expressed how excited they were by the news and are expecting Bibby to have a big impact and lead the Hornets to a winning culture.
I love it. I'm not a Kings fan, but I think Mike Bibby will bring some good names to the team, and I hope that it means we'll get better as a team.
I feel curious to see what would be the outcome of how everything's gonna go. But if they're winning and then they let me provide some more stuff to the school, then yeah, I'm all for it.
I think that we're focusing on the wrong things right now as a institution. I think that bringing in like a new head coach is kind of deflect from that.
Yeah, so I think that knowing that he's a Sacramento Kings former player was really cool for him to come on, just because like he's from Sacramento and so he knows the community, and I think it's like a full circle moment for him.
I was surprised because like I've been hearing a lot about like how like money has been like tight, and then it's just like we're hiring someone new, and I know someone that's like high profile, especially they're not going to be cheap.
I was not expecting that big of a name to become our next head coach.
I kind of was surprised. I'm like, where y'all get him from? Like, he just wanted to do it. And then I also heard my LB cut Shaquille O'Neal's son head, because I know he coming here. I know Mikey coming in too. So I don't know if they're like trying to like build like some super team, but like hopefully like it works out, you know?
What does he plan to do to give our team more exposure, and also what are his goals on bringing home a championship?
Kind of his scouting process. I'm interested into that. It's an interesting idea, how we scout people.
I think since sports is like a really big factor on campus, bringing in more people and more wins would definitely bring in more money to the school that could be shared to other departments and everything like that.
That's my hope, is that with all the funding, they're able to sort of like bring back a lot of programs that they took away and that they're planning to take away.
If they're performing, it's gonna bring the community out. Community is your supporters, and just feeding off that energy, more like revenue and people seeing more stuff, it's a lot more chances to get donations and to let other people have more publicity into certain things that they might be trying to do or any endeavors they're trying to complete. So it can be all around good for everybody.
I'm Madison Flellen with the State Hornet. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Madison, for those reactions. Now let's hand it to Sincere to wrap up our sports updates.
The spring game for Sac State football experienced the largest number of spectators in Sac State's history with 7,149 in attendance. The same week, Sac State football players such as draft hopeful guard Jackson Slater were in attendance for this year's Pro Day, hosted at UC Davis. After the Pro Day, Slater finished with a relative athletic score of 9.61 out of 10, a number that only 67 other guards prospects have beaten since 1987.
That's all from us. Thank you for tuning in.
Now let's take it back to news for our closing statement.
Thank you, Sport, for those updates. I'm Min Antang.
And I'm Skylar Finlay. Thank you for listening to the State Hornet Broadcast. Student news without fear or favor.